you, Stacy?
Pleasure to meet you.
What's happening?
I literally am like sad talking to you, I feel like, just because the world kind of sucks right now. But, oh, thank you. But I do want you to know the power of this billboard at 437. I was driving to the bank and wasn't going to come to this car, but didn't know too much about it. Just got informed earlier. Saw the billboard and literally got here at 5:45.
Well,
So thank you for that. What is the specific influence you want to have by being a part of this project? Like, what's the change?
the segment that I produced on this project is around school-to-prison pipeline. We chose Pinellas County, Florida. Folks have heard of St. Petersburg, Florida, near Tampa. And there is something very alarming happening there that is kind of on a larger scale than it's happening around the country. It is pervasive around the country, and that is the deliberate segregation of schools and therefore of school resources to communities, which further ostracize an already impoverished area. And it's essentially, underfunding, under-resourcing American children, and over-criminalizing them for normal, mischievous kid behavior. Things that when we were kids and when our parents were kids were considered boys being boys and roughhousing and talking back to a teacher and chewing gum or being tardy are now being treated as criminal offenses that bring armed police officers into the school to wrestle with them, fight with them, arrest them, handcuff them. They can fit two hands in a pair of handcuffs in one handcuff. Criminalizing particularly black and brown children, which gets them in the system so that their second strike is when they're 12 and their third strike is when they're 15 and they're on what we call the pipeline, the superhighway to prison. Getting us in the system, which means later that you can't vote, you can't sit on a jury, you can't participate in American democracy. We just have to be bystanders to our own oppression. So we always wonder about how does this happen? How does this happen? This is how it happens. Get you in the system really early for, I don't know what network this is, but for bullshit.
What is missing in the rehabilitation system, in the process? Like, there's so much, but for you, you've been able to really come close. What's missing in actually doing it the right way?
Well, we should be clear. It's not a rehabilitation system. It's a carceral state. It's to put you in a cage and keep you out of our lives. It's not to rehabilitate you. It's to separate you and to punish you and make money.
So what about when they come out? They're supposed to be good. What is missing there?
But they're, actually training people to actually function in a civilized society. Learning trades, language, educate themselves, being able to be trained to actually be employed in a society that will actually employ you. You can have all the skills you want. If you have to mark convict on your application, you're unlikely to get hired, right? We know that. It's not a mystery. Nobody's surprised to hear that convicts and felons have a hard time getting employment. So what can we do to position ourselves to they paid their dues, overly paid their dues by and large. So we're trying, the more we can expose that and expose how young and how easy it is to rope kids into the incarceration, then maybe we'll stop pretending that it doesn't exist.
Last but not least, you've been a part of the media conversation a lot. And sadly, we lost another person, Terrence Crutcher, yesterday. I don't know. I guess it's hard to say in that conversation. Even I'm sure you saw the video, and then in the conversation with the media and the way things are portrayed. Now we find out what was in his car and his backstory. How do we tell these stories correctly? I know you're not in the media necessarily, but you've seen it from so many different angles. What are we doing wrong?
We're defaulting to the police as a source of information. Why would you start with the police investigating themselves for a murder or for a killing that has happened? There's absolutely, sometimes they have to draw the weapon to protect themselves. But there should be separation of church and state. The police are not a source of information before an investigation where we catch them in lies every week. So let's just stop playing dumb about that.